We don't have to do all the things to make an impact. We can simply share from our heart. Today, I kind of want to talk about what it really means to be multidimensional, what it means to constantly let go, constantly evolve, what that really looks like.
Hello, my loves. This is Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, healer, and author. And I am obsessed with all things metaphysical, esoteric, galactic, and of course, the healing journey. And I'm here to share my stories, my wisdom, and my teachings about being human in the illusion that we call reality. Welcome to Cosmic Blonde.
Hello, my loves, and welcome to the very first episode of Cosmic Blonde. For those of you who are just finding me, I am Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, healer, author, many things upon things, and none of it really matters, honestly, because I am just here to be my authentic self and to share my stories, my weirdness, my experiences, my wisdom, and anything else that feels like it wants to come through. This is the space where I'm going to share in hopes that you receive it and relate to it. You don't feel alone. And maybe you even grow some from it. It's just to reach one person, to make that one impact so it can ripple out and continue one person at a time. We don't all have to reach the masses to make an impact. We don't have to do all the things to make an impact. We can simply share from our heart. Today, I kind of want to talk about what it really means to be multidimensional, what it means to constantly let go, constantly evolve, what that really looks like. Because I think we get caught up in these esoteric words like multidimensional. My best friend calls it variance. I call it aspects of self. And there's so much more to it than that. Yes, there are infinite numbers of realities, timelines, dimensions that we are in all at the same time. Yes, everything is happening all at the same time. The past, the future, the present, it's all happening right now. It's all happening right now. There are probably hundreds of versions of me doing something just a little bit similar with different people, maybe in a different place, maybe my look's different, but it's still me. There's versions of me that are on a stage right now speaking to thousands of people. And there's probably a version of me that's crying on the floor in the closet. Something I've done. I've been there, trust me. There's all the versions in between. Everything that you desire, everything that I desire, everything that I've ever wanted, I have achieved it, especially if I can see it, especially if I can visualize it. Every morning I do a quantum jump meditation. It's 15 minutes. And I take on the version of myself that I feel most aligned to. And over the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, I've kind of had the same visualization. It's changed just a little bit, but there's this version of me who lives oceanfront. She gets out of bed, she puts on a silk robe, she steps out onto her patio. She feels the ocean breeze pull her hair back immediately. She just feels it wisp through her hair. And she gazes out at the sunrise. really just allowing that first morning light to really set her circadian rhythm. She feels the warmth of the railing. She feels the wood deck beneath her feet. She hears the seagulls, the birds. She hears the ocean waves crashing. And she walks through her beautiful bedroom with a beautiful fireplace. Down the hallway, glances into her office where she sees a whole wall dedicated to her nomad journey of all her travels and wisdom that she has accomplished. Into the landing of the stairway where she sees the photos of her wedding. She goes down the stairs, opens the door, because she knew she was about to receive speaking contracts to be a speaker at an event, to be the headlining speaker at an event. She picks those contracts up off the ground, heads into the kitchen where her trusty mud water is awaiting for her. For those that have been following me for any length of time, especially during my nomad journey, mud water has been one of the staples of this journey that have helped ground me. I'm not affiliated with them anyways, not that I wouldn't love to be, but I can never I can never speak highly enough about mud water. The shit is the bomb. We're just gonna say it. It's like heaven in my mouth. She drinks her mud water. She picks up her phone, takes her mud water, her contract, sets it down at this big, gorgeous labradorite island. She opens these beautiful glass doors, you know, the kind that kind of fold into themselves, like there's like a pocket in the wall and the door pushes. It's like that. So where it's like the outdoors meets the indoors and the full breeze can come in. And she sits down at the counter and she logs into her bank account and she checks her bank account every morning. And every morning that number changes, right? And then it goes on from there. Her husband comes down, interactions. And at some point, there's this portal moment where her and I become one. And that moment is so important to me because in that moment, what I've noticed is in that moment, I'm always the version of me that I'm trying to become, right? The version of me that owns this beach house. She's thanking me in the now, right? Because I'm the one doing the fucking work to become her. I'm the one who's overcoming the limiting beliefs. I'm the one who's working every day to sit in my discomfort, to grow, to move forward in spite of my fear, in spite of my pain. That's how I start every damn day. Every day I start it this way because it's a reminder that I can't be her without being me. I have to be where I am. And where I am in any given moment, I'm going to change and evolve. I am not who I was a week ago. I'm not who I was 6 months ago. I'm definitely not who I was 3 years ago. And I don't even recognize the girl before that because I have grown so much. And those who have been with me since the beginning have seen the evolution of me and my business and the fact that I will easily scrap anything. I will easily blow up my business and start over again. Because sometimes we grow so fast and we have changed so much that there isn't anything left of what was that resembles what is. And I think this is where we misunderstand what multidimensionality is. It means that you are constantly changing and moving, shifting through timelines. There is so many different versions of you, and one decision can shift you into a completely different timeline. And you may be in that timeline and that version of yourself for 2 years. And you may only be there for 5 minutes. You may have the interaction that you needed to have in that timeline, and then you may shift it. That interaction may be the very thing that you needed to shift you 5 more timelines over. Those of you who have been around me for a while or understand metaphysics, right? I talk a lot about the elevator when I talk about dimensions, frequencies. That's what dimensions are. They're planes of frequency. They're radio stations, if you will. And we are constantly tuning in to different ones. And the things that we desire are on a certain frequency, and we have to be able to embody that frequency, to become that frequency in order to hold those things long term. And so as we're moving and shifting in timelines, we're also moving and shifting in frequencies. So we're in this elevator. We are the elevator, right? We're constantly moving up and down. And sometimes we have to get off the elevator and we have to explore that frequency for a while. We need to collect the things, embody the things, and then we'll move floors again. And sometimes in the same hour, we can hit rock bottom and skyrocket back up to the top. And some days we're just chilling on one frequency all day. But we're doing the up and down in the frequency while moving laterally through timelines, right? Because nothing is actually linear, but we're always doing all of the things all at once. We're always shifting frequencies and we're always moving in timelines. Sometimes we'll stay longer in another and sometimes we won't. Sometimes we're just moving really fast. And collectively as a planet, overall, our frequency is shifting and the timelines are shifting ridiculously fast. A lot of times people say, time is moving so fast. No, babe, you're moving fast. I'm moving fast. It's crazy how fast it happens. And this is why it's so important to understand that multidimensionality means that there are infinite numbers of you. There's infinite versions of you. You never have to be the same version of you twice. You're allowed to change every fucking day if you want to. You want to change your look tomorrow and be somebody different? Fucking do it. You want to blow up your business and create a whole fucking brand new one? Fucking do it. By the way, I say fuck a lot. It is a very meditative word, in my opinion. You want to change your hair color every day? Fucking do it. You are the only one who's judging you. I was the only one judging me. And let's be real. I'm not 100% judgment free of myself, but I'm very acknowledging, very self-aware of my judgments. And so for a year before this episode, I felt the call to let go of my business. Hindsight, I didn't actually need to let go of it the way that I did. I just needed to let it naturally evolve. And I didn't, because I was in so much self-judgment about me in transition. I've been from April of 22, right, all the way through about February or March of 23. I was on the road constantly. I am still technically, as I record this, a nomad because I do not have my own place and I still am temporary. But what I can tell you is during that process of physically transitioning constantly, I was noticing that I was constantly in transition. And some of those transitions were very painful because I was isolating myself. I was, in a sense, punishing myself or feeling like this is what I have to do. I don't deserve anything. And as I did that, I noticed so much of myself, so much of my business, so much of what brought me joy, so much of what inspired me just didn't. It didn't. I no longer had this thirst to be a household name. I no longer had this thirst to hustle the way that I had. I no longer had this thirst to do that. but I couldn't figure out how to let go of that and still be supported because that was a belief. So I was in judgment of myself, and I did probably 10 years worth of healing in that year of the first year of my nomad journey. I swear to you, it's at least 10 years, at least 10 years. I changed so dramatically that when I finally decided to surrender to that feeling of letting go of my business, it wasn't just my business. It was flying back to North Carolina and getting rid of everything I owned for the third time in my life. It was closing out my storage unit. It was giving away thousands and thousands of dollars worth of crystals and thousands of, probably at least $1,500 in oracle cards and tarot decks. It was giving away furniture. It was selling things for pennies on the dollars. It was donating a ridiculous amount of my life, giving it all away. I gave a lot of stuff to my daughter. I gave it all away. I fucking just let it all go again. And this is a pattern for me. This is the third time that I personally have gone through this. There was a time in between where I helped, I was the one who let go of everything from my dad when my dad was dying in 2015, which was pretty much me giving away too, but it wasn't my stuff technically. So this is my third time that I've let go of everything. And in that time I let go, I closed my business literally with the IRS. I closed my EIN. I retired all my digital courses. I stopped posting on most platforms. TikTok has been a place of just fun for me. So I kind of never stopped posting there. But I said goodbye to North Carolina. I'm sure I'll be back at some point, but not in the same capacity and not for a long time. And then I flew to Texas, and I spent a week with some friends, and I went through an intense week of exhaustion. Because here's the thing, when you let go the way that I've been letting go, and like I said, I've done this a couple of times. When you let go that dramatically, it's like being so tightly wound on a tire swing that when you finally let go, it just fucking flings. And it's exhausting, and all this energy is just being released. I dropped 5 pounds like immediately. I wanted to sleep. I was napping during the day. I don't ever do that, right? My body felt like I'd been hit by a truck because I had let go so much, so deep in my bones that I had lactic acid coming out of me. So this has happened to me several times. What I realized on the other side of that is I never had to let it be that extreme. Now, maybe it's the Scorpio rising in me that's the extremist, right? The death and rebirth. But I don't want to do that anymore. And so I had to stop judging myself about how I change and shift so quickly. And the judgment that I was getting was, oh, she can't figure out what her thing is, or these are the stories that are going in my head, right? She can't figure out what works for her. She's just trying to figure out what makes her money. Or she is struggling, and so she keeps changing her business or changing her branding. It's like, I mean, there's probably a version of me where that's true. But honestly, I'm chasing my joy. I'm chasing what inspires me. I'm chasing what lights me up. I'm chasing what I would fucking do for free. And technically, I'm doing for free. Nobody's paying me to talk to you guys right now. I'm doing it because I fucking want to, because I like it. And I'm going to do it until I don't like it anymore. And when I don't like it, I'm either going to shift it, change it, or just fucking drop it. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, no, I don't see a lot of people doing this. I don't. I see people maybe rebranding. I see people doing the same thing over again on a hamster wheel. I see people having the same business model. And if that's what works for them, fan-fucking-tastic. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't. And it's interesting because the only thing I've ever craved in my life is stability, is security. And the thing that is my life theme is detachment. It's knowing, it means not having any of that. It's detachment. It's knowing that I'm I'm the fucking bird and I don't have to worry about the branch breaking because I have wings. And I will always catch myself. I will always take flight. I will always survive. I will always be successful at whatever I do. And my business was and is successful because I know, because I get messages all the time from people who tell me how much I changed their life. And every single time it humbles me because I am so hard on myself. I'm so hard on myself. And I judge myself so much to be the best. And that is a childhood program in itself, right? That version of me is a little girl whose mother has abandoned her and a father who's doing the very best he can. And she is doing things that most children her age shouldn't be doing. And it's training her to reach expectations that are unreasonable. And so for me, the other lesson is grace, is to fucking give myself a goddamn break. It's just to give myself a break. And so I did. So again, it didn't have to be that hard, right? My transition didn't have to be that hard, but it was. And that's okay because I learned from it. I absolutely learned from it. And here I am, ridiculously happy to be recording my very first episode of The Cosmic Blonde. So here's the thing. Remember, multidimensionality, yes, it means that there's galactic versions of you, right? There is a Pleiadian version of me. There is an Arcturian version of me. There's an Andromedan version of me. There's a fairy version of me. There's probably hundreds of this version of me in some shape or form. There's lots of inner children versions of me that are holding limiting beliefs and very limited mind frames. And then there's higher, different versions of me that are so expansive and so esoteric. And we can shift and move through those versions of ourselves all day long. And as you find through expanded self-awareness, new versions of yourself, the same way that as I expand, I find new versions of myself, I might like one of those versions and go, yes, that feels right for me. I'm going to play that character for a while. But you're always the main character. You get to choose the movie. You get to choose. And sometimes you don't get to choose, right? Sometimes you're like, this is the movie you were given. This is the hand you were dealt. Now you just have to play that character really fucking well. This is what it really means to be multidimensional. So in this podcast, what you can expect is this: me sharing whatever the fuck I feel called to share. Sometimes it'll be about weird experiences that I've had. Sometimes it will be about childhood trauma. Sometimes it will be about whatever. Doesn't matter. But every episode you can expect some mic drop moments, some laughter, maybe even some tears. And I'm so thankful and grateful for every single one of you who fucking listen and who relate. Because guess what? We're all human playing in this illusion that we call reality on a rock, going thousands of miles an hour, probably more than that, through space, all trying to act like we need to feel safe. I'm not wearing a damn seatbelt, and I don't know what's going to happen next. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride. And I'll hope you come along. I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for listening. This episode was brought to you by JohannaBurkhardt.com, where it's time to defy the limits of your mind and step into your multidimensional mastery. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. See you next time.